The rain started before the knock, soft, patient, almost like it knew what was coming. 3 sharp hits on the door cut through the silence, and for a second my heart forgot how to beat. When I opened it, there they were. My father, drenched coat dripping onto my welcome mat. My mother behind him, clutching a box labeled master bedroom. My brother's smirk curled like smoke. "You're alone, Emma," my father said. "No husband. No children. You don't need this house." The words hit harder than the rain. The same family that once threw me out into a storm when I was jobless now wanted the one thing I'd built from the wreckage. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just looked at them, calm, steady, and reached for my phone. But to understand that moment, you'd have to know everything that came before it. That I grew up in a quiet suburb outside Columbus. The kind of place where everyone smiled but nobody saw you. My father, Robert, was obsessed with control. Numbers, order, everything in its place. My mother, Diane, believed perfection was love. Fresh flowers on the counter, matching pajamas every Christmas, and fake laughter that filled every silence. And then there was Alex, my older brother, the golden son. Every story, every photo, every proud word, they all began with him. I was the quiet one, the background noise. I sketched designs on my old laptop while everyone else toasted Alex's potential. When I told them I wanted to study design, my father put down his fork like I'd said something shameful. "Design isn't a career," he said. At my mother smiled, that thin, pitying smile. "Sweetheart, you'll end up freelancing forever." And Alex, laughing, "Better hope Target needs a website." Their laughter burned into my chest that night. But I smiled, pretended it didn't matter. Then I went upstairs and packed my sketchbook away. 18, Alex got a car. I got a $50 bill and a lecture about being independent. I used it to buy a used textbook. The next few years broke me open. I stocked shelves at night, studied code by morning, and survived on burnt coffee and determination. No one called. No one cared except my grandmother, June. She was my anchor, the only one who saw me. Every Sunday she'd call and say, "Don't let them shrink you, honey." Her house smelled like cinnamon and old books. When I stayed there during summer breaks, she'd tell me stories about how she built her house brick by brick after Grandpa died. "Independence isn't loneliness," she'd whisper. "It's freedom." I held on to that. By 22 I graduated. No applause, no family in the crowd, just me and a cheap frame around my diploma. I got a small job at a local design agency. The pay was terrible, but it was mine. I sent a picture of my desk to my parents. They never replied. Years passed. Alex became the family trophy. Every phone call was about him, his promotions, his MBA, his trips. When I tried to share my own news, my mother said, "That's nice, dear. Alex just bought a condo." I kept trying to earn their love, but love from them was a locked door. Then at 27, the company I worked for went bankrupt overnight. One email just gone. My rent, my savings, my hope, all slipped through my fingers. I called home, my voice shaking. "Dad, I just need help with rent. Please." He sighed. "Actions have consequences." Mom added, "We can't. Alex's tuition comes first. You should have chosen something stable." The line went dead. That night, I drove to their house in the rain. My father opened the door halfway, porch light cutting across his face. "Please," I said. "Just for a few weeks." "No," he said. "You made your choices." Then the door closed. The rain soaked through my coat, my shoes, my bones. That was the night I stopped being their daughter. For weeks I lived out of my car, slept behind a Walmart, showered at a gym, charged my phone in coffee shops. Every rejection email felt like a bruise. Until one afternoon I heard my name. Emma. It was Chloe, an old friend from high school. She didn't ask questions. She just said, "Come with me." Her spare room felt like heaven, warm sheets, real food, light through the window. The next morning, she helped me get an interview at her boyfriend's design studio. The owner, Daniel, looked at my portfolio and said, "You've got something. Start Monday." For the first time in months, I breathed. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my grandmother's neighbor. "Emma, it's June. She's in the hospital." Chloe drove me there. When I saw her, she smiled weakly. "You came." "I tried to call," I whispered. "I know," she said. "You always try." 3 days later, she gave me an envelope. Keys and papers. The cottage, it's yours now. Grandma, don't. I built that home to protect what matters. Now it's your turn. That night, she passed while I held her hand at a tea-the-will reading. My parents and Alex were there. When the lawyer said her cottage and savings were left to me, my father's face went red. She was manipulated. My mother snapped. You never visited her, I said quietly. I did. I stood, pocketed the keys and walked out. The cottage was small, worn, but it felt alive. I painted the walls, planted Grandma's favorite flowers, turned the spare room into a workspace. It wasn't much, but it was mine and I built my design studio there, called it Northlight Creative, after Grandma's favorite saying, keep your eyes on the light, not the storm. Slowly life found me again. Clients came, projects grew. And one of those clients, Ethan, who owned a small bookstore, stayed longer than most. Dinners, late night talks, laughter I didn't know I'd missed. Love didn't arrive grand, it arrived quietly and stayed. Years passed. I was 32, happy, free. Until one message changed everything. Hey Emma, heard your business is doing great. Let's reconnect. Alex. 5 years of silence. I ignored it at first. But then he called. We've been thinking about you. Mom and Dad want to visit. Just for the weekend. Against my better judgment, I said yes. When they arrived, it felt like a storm brewing. My father smiled too wide. My mother brought pastry she hadn't baked. Alex wore his usual arrogance like a coat. This house is impressive, my mother said. For someone with no husband or kids. Lunch was quiet until my father spoke. You don't really need all this space. It's wasteful. What are you suggesting? I asked. He smiled thinly. We could move in. Your mother and I'd take the master. Alex could use the office. I froze. Then laughed once sharp. You can't be serious. Alex shrugged. We're family. You owe us. Owe you. My voice broke into something fierce. Like I owed you the night I begged for help and you shut the door? My father's face hardened. That was different. No, I said, standing. It wasn't. Get out. They left, but I saw the warning in my father's eyes. 3 weeks later, while Ethan and I were in Chicago, I got a text from Grandma's old neighbor. People are moving into your house. I opened my security app and saw them. My father breaking the lock. My mother carrying boxes. Alex hauling suitcases. I called him. What are you doing? We're moving in, he said. This is a family home. You're alone, Emma. You don't need it. You broke in. We have every right. Contest the will if you want. I whispered, try me. We drove back through the night. When we arrived, my house wasn't mine anymore. My photos replaced, my things boxed. My father stood there, arms crossed. It's done, he said. We're taking this house. I looked at him, steady, unshaken, and pulled out my phone. One call, I said. Don't you dare. But I already had. 20 minutes later, red and blue lights filled the driveway. My father tried to smile. This is a misunderstanding. We're her family. I held up the video. Family doesn't use a crowbar. The officers watched the footage, expressionless. You have 30 minutes to leave, one said. Or you'll be arrested for breaking and entering. My mother cried. My father shouted. Alex cursed under his breath. I stood by the door silent. Rain began again, soft, familiar. When they finally left, the house was quiet, mine again. The police charged them. Probation. A restraining order. Justice didn't roar, it whispered. And in that whisper I heard peace. Months later, the garden bloomed again. I built a swing under Grandma's oak tree. One evening, Ethan was cooking dinner when my phone rang. Emma, my mother's voice trembled. I heard you got married, that you're expecting. I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you. For a long moment I said nothing. Then softly, thank you. When the call ended, I looked out at the fading light. The same rain that once drowned me now watered everything I'd grown.